we're back. And we're still looking. Because with half the town burned down, we don't have many options.
Yeah, our kind of narrowed down the possibilities a little bit, but what are you going to do?
This video is going to be short because the Angry Lynch mob outside is getting pretty close, so we really need to get out of here.
Yeah, so we better hurry up before they close in on us.
Slasher movies.
That's right.
Hit or
miss. The big four slasher icons. Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This follows the rule of 4, meaning if you get to 4 movies, stop, because they're just going to get worse.
Yeah. I think it's especially true with the Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchises. Hell, and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Jason, I like them all, so... I've actually done this video already, the same exact topic with Dark Wolf and one of my other shows, Video Graveyard. I have talked about these characters ad nauseum, but I could talk about them forever, so I don't care. Make 1,000 videos about them for all I care.
One thing I've always wondered about, like, Friday the 13th, like, is it really him every time, or is it somebody else?
It's him. It's him. I've heard that theory before, though. Like, it's a different person every time.
Well, part 5, it wasn't him.
Well, yeah, part 5 it wasn't. It was Roy. And part 1, of course, it was
makes me wonder if that guy had such bad anger issues. Why'd they let him near an axe?
Yeah, I know. I think Jason possessed him, because in Jason Goes to Hell, it's revealed that Jason has the ability to possess other people and jump from body to body. And Creighton Duke, as a character we've never seen before, he knew about it. He knew that Jason had this ability. Well, how could he have known that unless it had happened before? And Roy, when he was the killer in part 5, spoiler alert, sorry, he was almost superhuman. He really took a beating and he kept coming. And also, when he first sees Tommy, it seems like he recognizes him obviously from the final chapter from part 4. So I think that it's Jason. It makes me enjoy the movie a lot more, because I think it's really annoying that somebody else is the killer other than Jason or his mom in one of the movies. It's just like, why even do that? And I love part 5. I think it's very underrated. It's one of the most fun and entertaining movies in the franchise. But yeah, obviously, we're going to talk about Jason first, if you hadn't already guessed.
Wait, so he drowned, right?
Right.
But
I think so, anyway.
Yeah, but so it's never. Is that really him in the second movie, or just some weird hillbilly found in the woods?
Yeah, that would explain. Well, but he's got his mom's severed head. He's got Pamela Voorhees' severed head in his little shack that either he built or was like a rundown cabin that he fixed up and lives in. And also, he killed Alice at the beginning, the chick who beheaded his mom at the end of part 1. So I think it's supposed to be him. The thing is, there's a theory that Jason didn't really drown, and like he just he survived and just lived in the woods as a hermit, as a recluse, living off woodland animals and vegetation, I guess. I like to believe that he actually drowned and was resurrected somehow. I even have a theory that, like, in Jason Goes to Hell, it shows the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead franchise, and I have a theory that maybe Pamela used a ritual to resurrect him, and she needed one more victim in the ritual, and that was supposed to be Alice, but then when Alice beheaded her, she became that victim, and Jason was resurrected. Because Jason, you see him as a little boy dragging Alice down to the lake at the very end. I think that was the moment when he was resurrected. He was, he regenerated and came out of the water as a waterlogged zombie child, and then he started growing to catch up to what age he would be. He's born in 1946, so he'd be like, late 30s or 40s by the time the 80s got here. He'd been like around 40, because I think part 2 takes place in 1984. He'd be like, late, almost 40, I mean. So yeah, I think that he really did drown. He was resurrected somehow, and he was always kind of a supernatural killer. Because he he got stabbed in the heart at the end of part 2, then he got an axe in his head, and he got hanged at the end of part 3, and then, he kept coming. So I think he was always supernatural, and I think he really did drown. That makes me enjoy the movie more. Because that was my favorite part, when Jason comes out of the water. I want it to be real. I don't want it to be a dream. Plus, how did Alice know that he was deformed? She imagined this deformed child. How did she know that he was like a mongoloid? She didn't know that. So how would she have imagined exactly what he was supposed to look like? That doesn't make any sense. So I think it was real. And plus, he pulled Rennie down into the water in part 8 in a flashback, so I think it was real. But, everybody has their theories. It's all speculation. I don't think the director's really put this much thought into it. But Friday the 13th series is definitely my favorite out of the big 4. I kind of like Michael Myers a little bit better. I think he's more evil, and he's kind of more interesting to me. But the Jason series is way more less convoluted and more linear, more coherent, easier to follow, and more fun.
Oh. Yeah, but then again, then it went into all his parents were in a cult and all this. There's a tattoo on the back of his neck, and it gets weird.
Who, Myers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the thorn tattoo on his wrist, and then he's part of the Druids. Yeah, it had the Curse of Michael Myers. Yeah, it got too convoluted. That's all like Jason, because Jason got a little convoluted too with Jason Goes to Hell, but I still like that movie. I think it's still fun. It's kind of silly how he had a sister this whole time and a niece, and this mystical dagger, and this knife turns into this mystical dagger used to kill him, and he's sent to hell, and I don't know. He had such a great look too, but then he jumped from body to body. It was just a weird movie. It didn't feel like a Jason film, but it's grown on me over the years. One of my favorites is definitely the final chapter, followed by part 6, Jason Lives. Jason Lives had the best opening of the series. It's like in the cemetery with Tommy. This time played by Tom Matthews from Return of the Living Dead, resurrecting Jason with lightning. By accident, I might add. Love me some Jason. And the remake was okay. It's one of the better remakes I've seen. It's not one of the worst. But, still,
I don't think they should
have sequel.
I don't think they should have Jared Padalecki in it.
Yeah. It's weird because Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, the stars of Supernatural, they were both in a remake of a slasher movie from 1980, and they're both in 2009, and a remake of a 1980 slasher film in 2009. They were both 3D. My Bloody Valentine and Friday the 13th. They're both a remake of a 1980 slasher film, and they're both in 3D, and they both came out in 2009. I thought that was funny. That Supernatural crossover with Scooby-Doo was hilarious.
I didn't watch it though.
It was pretty fun.
I'm really behind on Supernatural.
Yeah, me too. But I had to watch that episode. Anything else you want to add about Jason Voorhees?
No.
Let's move on to Freddy.
Okay.
Freddy Krueger. Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think he's the best out of all of them because he actually has character.
He has the most personality, for sure. He actually talks. He doesn't wear a mask. You see his face. And he's actually pure evil. And, Jason and Leatherface, I kind of get their, they're mentally retarded, and I kind of think that they're just kind of, defending their territory. They're, defending their place from intruders, and they kind of kill, Leatherface kills because his family tells him to, and Jason kills because he's avenging his mother, and he doesn't like trespassers. But Freddy actually wants people to die. He's a sadistic maniac who, wants to inflict pain on people. Myers is really evil.
So if none of them live on Elm Street, can he not kill anybody?
yeah, it is weird. He kills people who don't live on Elm Street all the time. Kind of makes the sequels weird, because it's not always on Elm Street. Just like the Friday the 13th sequels, it's not always on Friday the 13th. And, I'm sure Michael Myers doesn't just kill on Halloween, so... so it's always... All the titles are misleading. And Leatherface doesn't always... In fact, he doesn't kill with a chainsaw as much as you'd think. There's only one kill with a chainsaw in the first movie, so all the titles are kind of misleading, I guess.
Okay, so I'm kind of wondering how he was able to bring his skeleton to life.
Well, I guess much like Jason, weirdly enough, he has the ability to possess people, like when he possessed Jesse, played by Mark Patton in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. He possessed Jesse throughout the movie, and I guess he apparently can possess his own skeletal remains, which is weird. Yeah, because I always thought, I was like, what is going on? Was that a dream? Did Craig Watson's character and Nancy's dad, Lieutenant Thompson, played by John Saxon, did they fall asleep? I mean, they fall asleep in the junkyard, and then they dreamed that but no, it was in the real world. No. But not only did he possess a skeleton, he also made all the cars, all the cars around the junkyard start beeping, and their lights came on and stuff, so he's got a few powers in the real world to it, I guess. Well, maybe limited, but he's got a little bit of power in the real world, apparently.
I do like how, the third movie ended in the junkyard, and the fourth one picked up when he comes back in the junkyard. Yeah, but
when it picks up in part 4, the Dream Master, it's in a dream when he comes back. He's resurrected in a dream. It doesn't really explain, they buried his body in hallowed ground, they poured holy water on it, put a cross on it. It didn't really explain how he came back from that. I don't know, a dog pisses and it's fire and he comes back. I don't think they had I don't know.
It's one of those movies where pretty much it wraps up stuff from part 3 by killing off the people that
Yeah,
survived.
killed off all the Dream Warriors.
I think that takes away from the movie itself.
Joey and Kincaid. Yeah, it does. And then the focus was shifted to Alice, played by Lisa Wilcox, who reprised her role in part 5, The Dream Child. But yeah, it's not really, especially I love Ken Sagas. He's hilarious.
So he was using the baby to pull them into dreams or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I hardly ever watched part 5. It's one of the weaker entries. Not as bad as Freddy's Dead, but it's probably my second least favorite. I love Dream Warriors, part 3. I like part 2 as well. I think it's kind of underrated. It's not as bad as everybody says it is. It's probably the darkest entry. And Freddy was still kind of scary. He was still kind of mysterious in that one. Not as much as the first one. But
Part 3 is my favorite.
Mine too.
Like that whole puppet thing was really
yes, this guy's veins, and it makes him, he's sleepwalking and drags him by his veins. Philip.
And nobody sees it happen.
Yeah, I know. Well, they see him sleepwalking, but they don't know that. What I don't understand is, okay, when Freddy kills somebody, it happens in the real world. When he wounds somebody, scratches somebody's face, their face is scratched in the real world. So why wasn't the guy's veins hanging out in real life? It was just in the dream. That didn't make any sense.
Why did the TV have arms in the real world?
Did it? I thought her face was just in the TV. And that's another thing. What if somebody was watching? Well, what if somebody was watching her sleep when she was in the nightmare? Welcome to prime time, bitch. Would she have just like floated over to the TV and her face smashed into it? Like in real life, I mean. Like, if somebody's watching, what the hell would that have looked like? That was weird. She was watching Critters, by the way.
I thought she was watching like.
Well, yeah, and then she changed it to the Late Show or whatever with freaking Zsa Zsa Gabor. The director, Chuck Russell, said that Zsa Zsa Gabor is one of the stupidest people he ever met, and he wanted to have her in this movie. But I don't know. She died recently. She was like 100 years old, or 99. Yeah. Yeah, I love Dream Warrior. I think part 1, the original, is technically the best. I think it's the most well-made, most best directed, best written, best acted, scariest. But I think part 3 is my personal favorite. It's the most fun. It's the most entertaining. I love it. It explains a lot, too. I never liked the ending of part 1, to be honest with you. I never liked the ending.
So, like, when he kills Taryn, is he giving it over? Yeah. Or is, like, the tendrils just shooting into her brain and tearing it apart?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, what a rush. Yeah, she was a former heroin addict, and his fingers turned into hypodermic needles. I always thought that was so gross, the mouths on her arm. Ugh, that was nasty. It was a cool idea for a dream sequence. I thought part 3 was when the series started being really creative with the dream sequences. Because in part 1, it seemed like whenever somebody fell asleep, when they woke up, in their dream, they were wherever they were when they fell asleep. I hardly ever dream about where I'm sleeping, like where I'm actually in real life. And sometimes I was like at the boiler room, I guess where he worked, where he died or whatever. I thought they got a little more creative with the dream sequences in part 3 and part 4, but which kind of went a little overboard.
Yeah, why didn't he just come back and like kill the parents and get revenge?
Yeah. Well, killing their children is like. That's like the ultimate. That's like the worst thing you can do to somebody. So, I don't know. Plus, he was always a child killer too. They kind of implied, like, kind of suggested that he was a child molester, but I don't like to believe that. The remake definitely with Jackie Earle Haley definitely I think made it kind of clear that he was, but I think he was just a child murderer. I mean, not that that's not that that's any better, but he is a pervert though. He's like a dirty old man.
Yeah.
That side of him really shined through in Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, I love Robert Englund. He's awesome. I got to watch him play Freddy all day. Even in the worst, even in part 5 and Freddy's Dead, even the weaker injuries, he's still great. He's still fun to watch. Especially part 4. That was his movie. Part 4 was a Robert Englund movie all the way. He has some of the best lines in that one.
He had some of the best kills in that one, too.
Yeah, oh yeah. Some really weird ones, though, with the bug girl. The girl turns into a cockroach. That was weird. I love the pizza scene and the scene at the beach.
What would have been cool is, like, the faces on his body and near the end, like, if it had been, like, people from the other movies.
Yeah, that would have been. One of them was Linnea Quigley in part 4. Linnea Quigley was one of the souls on his chest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, does he actually die at the end of these movies, or, like, do they just banish him somewhere for...
I think he just kind of goes to hell, like, every time. Like they came up with really weird ways to kill him off, like... Part 3, I think, was the most definitive, burying him in hell and ground. That was a good way to kill him, but then after that weird way, he saw his reflection in a mirror, like, what? And then, I think it was cool that the souls came out of his body and tore him apart, and It just got weirder and weirder the way they killed him, the way they killed him off.
I did like he kills that one guy like he's Super Freddy.
Oh yeah, Super Freddy. That
Like
was
he,
Michael Bailey Smith.
like he cuts him like
Played
all the color just
Yeah,
runs out. It's
he
weird.
turns him into paper and New Nightmare.
I thought that was
Overrated.
I thought that was like part 5.
New Nightmare is part 7. To after Freddy's dead.
No, wait a minute.
Wes Craven returned.
No, wait a minute. No, that's part 5 because like that other girl like he feeds her guts out of that little doll to same movie.
Yeah, that is part 5.
Yeah,
but it's not New Nightmare.
I didn't say it was. You said it was.
What?
You said it was.
I said New Nightmare is part 7.
No, you said it was in New Nightmare. I said no, it's in part 5.
No, I was just bringing up New Nightmare. After you're talking about that, I was just bringing up New Nightmare. I was saying, let's talk about New Nightmare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say
I
that.
thought you said it was in New Nightmare.
No. That was in part 5. The Dream Child.
Alright.
I know my Freddy movies.
I kind of stopped after 1, 2, 3. Like I seen 5. That's where I pretty much stopped.
You found a good place to stop because Freddy's Dead is awful. Better than the remake, though, probably. All right, shall we move on?
He looks more like a. He looks like a sleepwalker.
He does. He does. Look too much like more like a realistic Byrne thing. Jackie Earle Haley didn't do a bad job. I mean, he's fine, but yeah, they're never gonna top Robert Englund. I don't care who they get.
Freddy's
Robert
Journal.
Englund is Freddy. Yeah.
2009.
They showed him too early. Like they showed him too early on. It wasn't mysterious enough. But whatever. Wish Robert Englund would come back. Alright, should we move on to Michael Myers? Because we're like at the 17 minute mark.
Yeah.
Michael Myers. The only ones I really, really love are part 1, 2, and 4. 5 is kind of weak. 6 is a little better, but too convoluted. H2O is okay, but it has no balls. It feels like a Scream sequel. Resurrection sucks, and I hate Rob Zombie's version.
I did like H2O where he goes and outside guys dressed up like him, yells at him, tells him to leave, and he just turns around and walks off.
That's Resurrection.
That's Resurrection?
Yeah.
Once they stop numbering them, I get them mixed up.
It's like they're embarrassed that they made that many.
2 was my favorite because like he's going to the hospital.
He was the most brutal in that one. He was just like a badass, pissed off, psychotic killer. He was definitely like, that was like the most violent one. It had the most kills, I think.
They need to do like, and I like to see more like hospital horror movies.
Yeah, I like horror movies that take place in a hospital.
It's like
Michael Myers is like pure evil. He's like, when they give him an origin story like they did in Rob Zombie's crap, he's bullied and he's got a white trash family and he's got an abusive father. And they made him a sympathetic character. They made him someone you can relate to. You're not supposed to be able to relate to him. That's what makes him so scary. He just woke up one day and he's pure evil. Nobody knows why he does what he does. He just does it. That's what makes him so terrifying.
He grew up in Tyler, Maine, so
yeah. But the original, I always got the impression that he kind of came from like a middle class, normal, average family. There's nothing weird about his situation. He just happened to be pure evil. That's what made it so like scary and so interesting. And when you give him an origin, when you give him motivation, a backstory, especially one as cliche and generic as that, it just lessens the character. And I like the way he's mysterious.
I don't know, like in the first movie when like they take his mask off after he kills his sister, like he looks like he doesn't even realize what he's done. Like he's
at the beginning, yeah, he looks weird. He's just like he looks confused. I think his sanity was just like leaving. Like he was just because we don't even know how like sentient he was before that. Like did he talk? I mean, like who knows?
Well, we know like he doesn't really sleep or eat or anything.
Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of weird because he's just compared to all the others on the list, like he's normal, kind of.
Well, I think Leatherface is the most human out of them, but
he's not evil. I think it's more like he's being manipulated. He doesn't really realize it.
Yeah, exactly. With Myers, he's just pure evil. He's just like death on 2 legs. The shape. He's like almost not even human. He's like a mysterious force, like an entity. He was always supernatural too. Like people saying, "Oh, he didn't come that way till the sequels." He took 6 shots and he was shot 6 times and he got right back up. All right. Anything else you want to say about Myers? Keep it down, please.
His movies are hit and miss.
Yeah, as I said, I only like 1, 2, and 4. The rest range from mediocre to god awful. So let's talk. We're at the 20-minute mark.
working.
We're gonna wrap this one up and talk about Leatherface.
Okay.
The only ones I really love out of that one are the first two. I think the first two are excellent. I love the original family, Drayton, the hitchhiker, Leatherface, of course, the grandpa, and I love Chop Top from part two. When they started introducing different family members and had weird old fat women and annoying kids in it, that's when it went downhill. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is okay. It's pretty good. I like it. It's better than the other sequels. Next Generation sucks. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't care for the remakes. I feel like they kind of missed the point. They're okay. They had
Arlie
annoying
Ermy was
fillers.
good.
I liked Arlie Ermy and I liked Leatherface. The rest of the family was annoying as fuck. I didn't like old fat women and annoying kids with buck teeth and a guy with no legs. They weren't interesting or charismatic.
I did like how
like
they
the original
explained why he
family.
has no legs.
Yeah, just the beginning, and Leatherface cuts them off, pretty much. But I like it because, like, in the original movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I feel like the villains, the evil family, the cannibalistic Sawyer clan, I feel like they're more fleshed out and, like, more... they had more personality than the victims, than the main characters, like, you know, Sally and Franklin and Kirk and Jerry and Pam. Like, they were kind of boring. Like, they were kind of bland. Franklin was funny. He had a lot of personality. And maybe Sally, too. But I feel like the villains are more fleshed out and, like...
I like how
more
no one ever
charismatic.
brings up that in interviews with Viggo Mortensen, he was in one of these movies.
Part 3, yeah.
What's part
Yeah.
2?
3.
Oh.
Yeah.
If
Bill
anything,
Moseley was in part 2.
Leatherface, you know, I don't think it's like he kind of gives up too easily.
Yeah. Well, he's very human. I think in a way that makes him the most scary because there have been people like him, like Ed Gein. There have been people, there have been cannibals, there have been killers and grave robbers, and you know he's very, very closely inspired by Ed Gein. You know, he wears a mask of human skin. He's a cannibal. He,
Wonder where he got that
All that
that first mask from.
yeah, I've always wanted to know. I guess the recent movie, the prequel Leatherface, answers that question, but I don't know if that was the original intent of the. I mean, it definitely wasn't. I don't think anybody knew. And then Texas Chainsaw 3D was okay, but huge timeline error. The original movie took place in 1973, and then Heather, the main character, played by Alexandra Daddario, was a baby. And then it cuts forth 40 years later, 2013, and she's like a teenager. She's like maybe 20 at the oldest, even though she's probably more like 17 or 18. She should have been 40. Like, that was a huge... They should have it take place in the 90s. But they had to show that damn iPhone, so they really fucked up there. That was terrible. But I think it had an interesting twist, but crappy acting and horrible dialogue kind of brought that one down. But I prefer it over the remakes only because it follows the original. It doesn't ignore the events of the original, and then, you know, it actually acknowledges that it exists, unlike the remakes.
And out of all 4 of these, only 3 of them have been in Mortal Kombat.
yeah, Myers is the only one that hasn't. It'll happen.
But they are all in
eventually.
Dead by Daylight, so that's something.
Hell yeah. They didn't make a game like, what was it called?
Friday the 13th?
Well, no, there's like a fan-made thing. It was never actually released.
Last year?
Terror Drome, I think was the name of it. It was all this like slasher villains, all the horror characters. Like it was like a Mortal Kombat type fighting game with all the horror characters. You had Jason, Freddy, and Leatherface. They even had Ash. Had like all of them, which would be freaking awesome. It'd probably be like a copyright infringement nightmare, all kinds of rights issues. But it'd be so cool if they could actually make that.
Yep.
So who's your favorite of the 4? Jason, Freddy, Myers, and Leatherface?
Freddy.
Good choice.
Just like, out of all those movies, like, the supporting cast is always, like, likable. Not like
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, where they're all assholes.
Yeah, pretty much. I kind of like Myers the best when he's done properly, when he doesn't have druids or the Curse of Thorn controlling him, or have a generic backstory with a white trash family and being bullied in school and shit. When he doesn't have a conscience or a motivation, and when he's just pure evil and mysterious and like an evil supernatural force, like an entity, he's my favorite. But Jason, the Friday the 13th is my favorite series. I think that one's the most consistent.
Rob Zombie getting stabbed for ruining Halloween.
Yeah, that one picture, that one game. I love Rob Zombie. I'm a huge fan. I love all his music. I love White Zombie. I love all his albums. I love all his music. I love all his other movies. House of
I
Corpses,
think he's
Devil's
forgotten
Rejects.
that
I didn't like his Halloween.
I think that he's finally forgotten he's supposed to be playing a character, and he's kind of taking it a little too far.
Yeah, probably.
Same with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of trying to like become their personas. But I've seen them both in concert, and they both put on a hell of a show. So I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. I just didn't really like This first Halloween movie, the one in 2007, was okay. I just didn't like the backstory. Then part 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I hate it. I despise that movie. I almost walked out of the theater. The only reason I didn't is because I had friends there that I was their ride. I was the driver, so I had to take them home.
Hope you didn't pay for it.
Yeah, I did, unfortunately. Worst waste of money. Worst money I ever spent.
That's why I only go to the movies anymore when it's like Final Destination.
I only go when it's a superhero movie. I see every superhero movie in the theaters. And yeah, I'd love for a Final Destination 6 to come out. That'd be awesome. It's like one of my favorite modern horror series, along with like Wrong Turn and Hatchet, the Hatchet movies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, there's a lot more to say, but we're past the 25-minute mark, so let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Pretty sure we can hear people outside, so
Yeah,
we better get out of here.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. They're coming for us. All right, guys.
See you.
Till next time.